Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I replaced the pulleys here on my 2002 Ford Mustang Saleen. I have a chirping on one of them, so I'm going to fix that today. Stay tuned.
Music bed.
Alright, so I went ahead and ordered all the different pulleys just to have them on hand. This one is the one I'm going to start with, so it's the one that's grooved. It's one of the idlers here. I did get both of one of these is the idler, the other one's the tensioner pulley. For the factory kind of, drive system on this car here. And then I got this one, which is the same as a Cobra idler pulley. Which on my Mustang here, Saleen, they put this extra idler here on top for the supercharger. So if you have a Saleen, just go ahead and, if you're going to the parts store, you can just ask them for a idler for a Cobra, like a 2003 Cobra idler. I think this is the upper, I think it's considered a driver's side, something like that, but it's just a bigger 90 millimeter pulley. I know you can get these in like nice billet steel, and I don't know, maybe eventually I'll do that. But so I have them all here. What I'm gonna do first is you need a 3/8 drive ratchet for your tensioner here. I'm gonna go ahead and move it and undo the belt from this idler, and I'm gonna start with this one here. So I'm gonna see if I start it, if you guys are able. I don't know if the camera will pick up the chirping. But I'm going to start with this one, put the belt back on, and see if it fixes it. I just want to 100% see which one of the pulleys is the one making the noise. I'll start with that one, maybe move to this one, do this one, maybe the tensioner last. Alright, I'm going to start it, see if it picks up that chirping noise. Go, start! Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my ratchet in here. If you have a longer breaker bar, that would make it easier. I have my little heater bar here, but take it off this pulley. That's pretty straightforward there. And then I have the belt loose, and I'm not gonna take the whole belt off. I'm just gonna kind of pull it a little bit here off this belt, since this is the one I'm gonna get started with. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get, it should be a 13 millimeter. I am gonna probably get a 10 here to loosen this bolt here for the AC line, just to move it out of the way just really quick. Alright, went ahead and got my 10 millimeter here. So this one just kind of holds this AC line in there. And you can kind of, it has a slot so you can move it out of the way that way. And then should be, I was thinking a 13, but we'll see. Yep. That's a 13. And let me see if I'm able to get with my ratchet behind this AC line. You can just kind of move the sprocket back. And that's just to get it loose. You can use a wrench once you get it loose, or use your hand. Shouldn't really be tight once you get it loose, So we're just gonna back this bolt up. The pulley has like a little pedestal that it mounts on, kind of like a little pin, a little tab, I guess. So make sure you keep your washer. And then we can pull the little pulley out. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the new one and then put it back on. Alright, so I got my group pulley here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the little area where it's supposed to go. So, you know, that'll hold it for you. And then I'm gonna put my bolt in there. I got these pulleys all from Rock Auto. So these are the, I think, SKP brand. They were about $5 each. I mean, I was gonna order Motorcraft, which, you know, those are really good, but they were about $30 each. So I'm gonna go with these. If they go bad again, maybe I'll get the Motorcraft. These ones that I have replaced prior, I'm pretty sure I put gates on there, and you know, the car doesn't have that much mileage in it, so you know, I can't say the gates are the best, I guess, out there, because based on the mileage, then they didn't really last too long, I guess. But so get that tightened up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and move this little bracket back over, put in the notch, and tighten up this 10mm bolt right there. Alright, and then I'm gonna take my belt and just kind of put it back where it's supposed to go. Over that pulley. And then I'm gonna get a light to make sure it's over the compressor there. Okay, so I just want to make sure the belt's going over the compressor there good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my ratchet back on this tensioner and go ahead and pull it up, tighten up the belt here, or loosen it up, and then put the belt over this pulley. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and crank it over, just see if it's still squeaking. Okay, so went ahead and started. I'm not sure if the camera picked it up, but it's not squeaking as loud, but there's still a small squeak in there. So what that tells me is that was one of the pulleys that was making just a slight little squeak, because it was way louder, but now there's still like a little squeak on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and going the wrong way. Get this loosened up, and I'm gonna go with this one secondly here. So I'm just gonna kind of put the belt there, make sure you got the right way on the tensioner there, but loosen this one. Same thing, 13mm. Get your bolt loosened. The pulley will stay in that little standoff off the timing cover, so, and then take it down. I'm gonna grab my replacement pulley. And I guess technically I could probably put the although I don't know if the belt will stretch, but I could put a little bit bigger one here. Well, let's see. Yeah, you could fit a little bit bigger pulley in there. You know, if you really wanted to, but let's take a look. Let's see if it if my belt will fit around there. That will make the belt tighter around the supercharger, so actually I'm just gonna go with the same size. But it's good to know that I could put this bigger one that I ordered in there as well. If I don't think I really have a problem with the belt slipping on this car. When I got the supercharger rebuilt, they did a smaller pulley, and then also it's called like a gator grip pulley, so it has little notches that grips the belt really well. So that way it doesn't slip. So let's see. All right. Got that in there. Let me start it and see if it's still making that squeak noise. All right, let's see what happens now. Wouldn't you know it, right? It's squeaking less. It's a really small squeak, but it's still squeaking just a tiny little bit. So I don't know if it's gonna be all of these darn pulleys or what, but I don't know if I have the right socket for this one. I think this is like a 1718. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace this one up here. Now this one, the belt is kind of on the way, but, or not the belt, but the hose. I just gotta pull the hose a little bit. So technically this bolt here goes all the way through the alternator bracket on this car here, and so this is kind of one of the modifications done by Saleen. So there's a little bracket that bolts to the factory alternator location, and then it just extends it up so the alternator kind of moves out of the way. So that way your supercharger fits in there. But with that said, it also has this long bolt that the pulley goes, you know, right through. So and this is just a little hard to take off just because it goes through the alternator little ear there. And it also has this little spacer that kind of, you know, holds your pulley on there. So I'll go ahead and get this in there. So it just takes longer to put it on just because of that bolt, but it's not too bad. You gotta remember on this one, that bolt pretty much just lines up this whole pulley and everything. So it's gotta be a grade A bolt. Make sure it's, you know, tight really good, just because that bolt is pretty much holding the alternator down, but also keeping this pulley lined up. So kind of a lot of stress on that one bolt. Gonna make sure my belt is good around power steering pulley there, everything else. Get my tensioner in here. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it started again. See if it's still chirping. Well, were you lucky there? 3 pulleys later, and it's not squeaking anymore. So they were all just making it squeak a little bit each. And overall, the one down there, the first one was the worst one, but overall, they were all making the noise. So one thing I was thinking about is opening the pulley up and greasing them extra. So let me clean up my tools, and then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about there. So what I was thinking, if you get like a pick, and you kind of have to be careful, I guess, if you're going to do something like this, but you can take this little cover off your bearing. And then, let's see this one. Right under here is your bearing, so I was thinking you can, you know, I can put some high temperature grease in here just as a little extra. You have this other cover here, although some of these, this is part of the bearing, yeah, so you can't. There we go. So this is just kind of what keeps the bearings, but you can see, hopefully the camera can pick it up. You know, this has some kind of dirt in there, and that's really what's probably making that noise. You know, the grease gets old and you get some dirt in there. So then at that point, your bearings make that noise because there's dirt in there. So I was thinking of taking just the top cover, not that piece there, but just this top cover. You could put a little bit of grease in there just to kind of, I don't know, get a little extra lubrication in them. But you know, at the end of the day, those new pulleys were $5 each, so not terribly expensive. I even have this extra one that I'll keep here, which I'll probably never find in there, but whatever. I do have a new belt tensioner somewhere in here as well, but that one I changed it not too long ago, so I knew if that would have been the problem, I do have an extra one in there. But overall, I mean, you know, that was about $15 from Rock Auto. Not too bad if you need to get rid of that little bit chirping noise. So thanks for watching the video. If you have any comments, questions, leave them below. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.